of you are surely aware that I have been devoting my Patreon videos this year to reviewing Disney Channel original movies, and it's been through this where I at last discovered what qualifies as a DCOM and what doesn't. It turns out that the series of what we call the Disney Channel original movies did not start until 1997. What the first one of these was, we'll get to in due course. But before that, we had what are now referred to as Disney Channel premiere movies, which I assume were movies that first aired on the Disney Channel, but were not directly produced by the Mouse-Eared Empire, and especially not their TV division. I can confirm we have reviewed one of those movies before, solving the long-term mystery I had of where that thing originated from. And then we have today's subject, a movie I absolutely know first aired on the Disney Channel, but doesn't seem to be recognized as either an original or premiere movie. It seems that Punks was originally made in 1997 by Gold Bar Entertainment and distributed by Artistry Home Entertainment, which would naturally place it in the earlier of the two film categories. However, it wasn't actually released until 1999, when Disney was clearly committed to their own original productions, so it's like it kinda got lost in the middle. And I think we can assume it's not going to be on Disney Plus anytime soon, as are none of the Disney Channel premiere movies, and that's a shame! Why, you might ask? Oh boy! This is Punks! We open in Seattle, if the big needle tower wasn't your first clue. I will refrain from making any Mariner jokes in this review. We're introduced to all of these outcast kids who keep getting picked on by the jocks, and then there's Drew Utley here, who even gets picked on by the nerds who beat him in the student council elections. So they're making it absolutely clear that our main characters are supposed to be losers. And yet, all I can think of is, what school actually has its lockers installed outside? That seems like a huge weather and security risk. Drew starts suggesting he and his friends should all form their own gang to counter against the bullies. And if you think we're about to go all Disney-fied West Side Story, let me assure you that is not the case. This is going to be much more insane. Cut to Crow Industries, where we meet Drew's father, Pat, who, yes, is played by Randy Quaid, who is being overseen by yes, that is the Fonz himself, Henry Winkler, playing our villain, Edward Crow. Not that they're the only recognized actors in this movie. The big curly-haired kid Lanny? Yep, that's Patrick Rema from The Sandlot. And trust me, we got more coming. Anyway, Crow Industries is testing some type of device meant to augment human strength or something. But Pat is less than enthusiastic about an actual human test subject so soon.
Men are designed to help paralyzed people to walk. I designed it specifically to regenerate atrophied muscles with electrochemical biostatic stimulation. But there could be serious side effects. I mean, he could become psychotic, he could go into cardiac arrest.
So yeah, Pat Utley is some super genius, but also a high-maintenance worrywart who suffers from a bad heart. I'm guessing Randy Quaid took this role to play something other than doofus rednecks like Cousin Eddie. And yeah, we have the standard trope of him always being at work and not there for Drew, even on his birthday. Which is probably why the next day, Pat takes Drew and his friend Miles to work with him so they can play Doom on his computer. And here's where we get two clues that Disney didn't produce this movie. First, Miles is actually wearing a Dexter's Lab shirt with the Cartoon Network logo in plain view. And two, they got away with that sign being posted. Man, Disney would never let something with that much innuendo be associated with them. Shut up! Miles starts trying to sneak into Crow's files, while Drew overhears Crow and his even slimier partner suggesting that Pat should be the next test subject for the augmenter, which neither of the Utleys yet know they actually plan to sell on the black market. Because we have to make it clear these people are evil, and them selling it to the US military wouldn't have driven that home hard enough. It was the late 90s, people, we didn't know yet. This all drives Drew and Miles to form Drew's super secret club, where they recruit Lanny and this gangster kid Johnny and bring them all to Pat's old lab in their garage. They manage to hack Crow's phone number and use the beta version of Windows Audition to steal his password and discover what the augmenter is all about.
An enhancer, a booster for the nervous system. Pretty powerful. Judging by this gauge, I'd say in 20 minutes you could fire your whole nervous system.
So, what would it do to someone with a heart condition?
Kill him in 5.
Geez, nowadays all you need to do is drink Panera Bread's lemonade. Drew decides they have to steal the augmenter to keep Crow from making his dad use it, and Johnny says he has a cousin named Sam that can help them in that area. Of course, the others become a bit perturbed when they discover Sam is Samantha, who, yes, is played by teenage pre-Dark Angel Jessica Alba, who before this also appeared on the Love Boat sequel series Chicago Hope and The Secret World of Alex Mack. I still need to track down those episodes and review that show. But despite all the cootie fears, the boys can't ignore that Sam knows a thing or two about breaking into places, since she helps out in her dad's work repossessing cars. Like this Beamer owned by a guy who still can't make the payments despite living at the Motel 6. You just gotta love how Sam here gives no fracks as trailer trash Karen here is going absolutely berserk. Dude, you should count yourself lucky it only got legally repoed. Where you're living, I'm surprised someone isn't stealing your tires every day. So the 5 of them join forces as the Punks, taking the first letter from each of their last names to make the acronym. Much better name than Love Muffin, am I right? They manage to break into Crow Industries in a scene that does come off like Sneakers Jr., and if you think that was too easy just 40 minutes into the movie, you would be right. Because it turns out Crow still has the original prototype, which is likely even more dangerous because it runs even hotter. Oops. We get some pointless filler pieces. First at a miniature golf course, just to have some Home Alone type gags. Followed by this one bit where they try to meet with Crow while dressed as ZZ Top and use the augmenter to give him an atomic wedgie. And it's after that where Crow, for a villain, actually does something brave and semi-ethical, as he's willing to test the augmenter on himself in front of his shareholders. Actually, between that and admitting the prototype doesn't run as smoothly, Crow comes off as having scruples for a corrupt corporate executive. Take away the fact that he's selling to unscrupulous buyers, and he'd just be a tough, demanding boss who expects success. Of course, this becomes a problem because the Punks do have the prototype for the remote control to the augmenter and manage to use it from their hideout to have some fun with Crow.
Will you please turn this off?
You're doing great.
Don't give me those looks. You all have someone you'd love to do this sort of thing to.
I'm sorry, sir, but I told you there were bugs.
You are a bug. Now you're gonna wear this augmenter tomorrow for the demonstration. What? You're fired.
Yeah, that's where this whole thing kinda falls apart for me. The idea that Pat has to endure all of this cruelty over the fear of losing his job. Dude, you're a skilled technical worker at a time when jobs were plentiful. You helped design a human supersuit. You are Tony Stark if he wasn't born into money. There should be companies left and right trying to poach this guy away from Crow Industries. Anyway, once Crow's threats drive the rest of the kids to bail out on Drew, and the dad comes in saying he has to do something before he becomes too scared to do it, which tries to turn the whole movie into this whole angels in the outfield tearjerker that doesn't really work. Drew goes out on his own to try and find this FBI agent that Crow said was his #1 enemy, but of course that was a setup because Crow had found the bug they had placed in his office. And of course he's gonna fall for this, because this was the same decade when Blank Check came out, and all teenage boys are suckers for a hot woman who might be interested in them. Really, with all the times Disney went to this well in the 90s, why is everyone griping about the content of Strange World?
Have you ever been deputized?
Deputized?
We're allowed to deputize civilians under special circumstances. Here, this badge represents your official appointment.
This is not creepy in any way whatsoever! But it all falls apart because Drew's buds had the quickest change of heart turn ever and realize the agent is just a plant, and that forces Drew to have to run for the hills, which leads to the most insane chase scene in the history of ever!
Is this map right? According to this tracker, he just got on the freeway. Doing 60 miles an hour?
Oh my god! Guys, I'm on the freeway! Oh, watch out!
You know, I can't believe the movie didn't bother to include this, so I'm just gonna say it now. Don't try this at home, kids!
Miles says to watch your gauge. More than 20 minutes on the augmenter could permanently fry your nervous system.
But no pressure!
Remember Bruno? He got his BMW back.
And this does lead to the best line of the movie.
Car shopping.
While Drew is forced to use the augmenter to do his chores, we see that Dad finally gets a spine and tries to quit. Crow takes it like you'd expect.
What are you doing?
Make a fist.
Enjoy your peace of mind.
So they put Dad in the augmenter and first choose not to turn it on so they can watch him get thrown around by the Big Show's little brother, which of course buys Drew the time he needs to get to Crow Industries with the real augmenter, which drives Crow to take the prototype off Dad and strap him on himself. Again, the inferior prototype model. You have no damn clue how much I'm holding back from making muskrat jokes here, people. But because the alpha version has been running for too long, Drew is only able to fight back with a leaf blower and whipped cream. The fans are so disappointed in you, Crow. Before his augmenter, sure enough, makes him fry. But guess who shows up with the remote for Crow's augmenter?
Oh!
So is this enough to blame the crappy writing and not Jessica for how bad the Fantastic Four was? And of course, Drew is fine, because did you really think a Disney TV movie would end that way?
All I ever wanted to do, son, was help people who were weak. I'm sorry I neglected you. I was weak. I was a weak father. I let you down. But no more.
Well, at least I can find a new job that's hopefully only 80% as corrupt as my last one. Maybe Lockheed Martin will come calling. And the movie ends with Drew and the Punks, of course, having kept the augmenter and using it for the cause of good, right?
Come to Papa, Ronnie.
Are we sure that thing is in good hands now? This was one of the nuttiest TV movies I ever saw, and I can't help but enjoy it for its lunacy. Someone took his childhood fantasies of how he liked to fight back against bullies and corruption, made it into a screenplay, and actually got someone to give him a budget. And because Disney wasn't micromanaging this thing at all, they just got to run hog wild with the entire concept. It is one of the biggest examples of stupid, crazy fun. And if you can find a copy, I invite anyone to just turn it on, turn your brain off, and enjoy the crazy ride. But yeah, if this wasn't the very first Disney Channel original movie, just what was? Well, fortunately it ties perfectly into the holiday season that's coming next month. See you next time!